So this week on the Andrew Klavan Show, we were talking about marriage and people who are against marriage. Pearl Davis was one, and a lot of trad cons have been attacking her. And I had to say she had some points that I think we have to address in a more honest way. And I talked about that on the Andrew Klavan Show. But today we went to TikTok and we just got a bunch of videos so we could make fun of them, because that's why we're here, really, to destroy the lives of people by making fun of them and, grind their self-respect into the dirt. Let's start with the show Whatever, where they bring on women who've been destroyed by our horrible culture and they make fun of them for being victims. Here is their take on marriage.
Would you consider a prenup?
Prenups are regularly thrown out all the time. They're typically non-enforceable, especially the longer the marriage goes on, the less likely they are to be enforced. Men get absolutely destroyed in marriage and in divorce. 50% of marriages end in divorce. 80% of divorces are initiated by women. 90% if she's college educated. 90% of child support payments go from men to women. 97% of alimony payments go from men to women. You have no fault divorce. So a woman can cheat on you. She can still get half her shit.
Well, first of all, it's 40% of first marriages. So 50%, the 50% thing, you'd have to add people who get serially divorced, and you shouldn't marry one of those. So that's not a good argument for not getting married. It's a good argument for not marrying somebody you're going to have to divorce. The way to do that, make sure she's a conservative, goes to church, and is a virgin. Then you're not going to get divorced. You'll be fine. And you'll be happy, actually. And especially if she can cook. If that cooking thing, like, women don't learn to cook.
I found that canned ham that we'd had forever, and I put it in a pot of boiling water, and guess what I'm calling it?
Soup?
Hot ham water.
I know. You think it's going to be okay sending out, but it's not. Here's the thing. You want to get married and you don't want to get divorced. You see the way those girls dress on Whatever? Don't marry a girl who dresses like that. Just a pro tip from me. All right, let's hear another one.
Marriage is a complete scam if you're a man. 50% of all marriages end in divorce. Second marriages have a 66% chance of ending in a divorce. And a third marriage, lucky number 3, thinking this is the one, have a 75% chance of ending in a divorce. So why would you take a 50-50 chance at losing half your money?
Let me tell you a story. I used to have a friend, and we'd occasionally go out on double dates. Obviously, I don't have friends anymore because, look at me. Every double date, he would have a different girlfriend. And every girlfriend he had looked exactly the same as the last girlfriend. In fact, there was one date where I actually thought it was the last girlfriend and it wasn't. And at the end of every date, his girlfriend would always have a nervous breakdown. The evening would always end with her crying and screaming, sometimes curled up on the floor and throwing a fit. And she was always insane. Now, once, that may be her fault. But the second time, it's his fault. I mean, that was something that he was obviously looking for, these short, cute blondes who went insane at the end of the evening. A lot of guys who get divorced and remarried, a lot of women who get divorced and remarried, find that they have all the same problems they had before. Why? Because the problems were theirs, not their husband's. Ask any divorced person, he will tell you, she will tell you, their ex-spouse was a lunatic. So here's the thing. Don't get married to lunatics. Don't get married to people you're going to have to divorce. Very important pro tip as you're getting married. Have you ever read the fine print that appears when you start browsing the internet in incognito mode? It says that your online activity might still be visible to your employer, your school, or your internet service provider. That is why I use ExpressVPN, because to actually stop people from monitoring your online activity, you need to do that. You need to do what I do and use ExpressVPN. Think about all the times you've used Wi-Fi at a coffee shop, hotel, a friend's house. Without ExpressVPN, every site you visit can be logged by the admin of that network. That holds true even when you're in incognito mode. Even your home internet provider can record your browsing history. In the US, they're legally allowed to sell that data to advertisers. ExpressVPN is an app that encrypts all of your network data and reroutes it through a network of secure servers so that your private online activity stays private. ExpressVPN works on all your devices. It's super easy to use. The app literally has one button. Even I can do it. All you have to do is tap that button and you're connected. Stop letting strangers invade your online privacy. Protect yourself at expressvpn.com/Andrew Klavan Show. Use my link at expressvpn.com/Andrew Klavan Show to get 3 extra months free. That's expressvpn.com/Andrew Klavan Show.
And you take way more risk when you you get married. That's the thing like these tradcons don't get. You're basically giving people an old set of rules for a new world that doesn't work. If I tell you, hey man, there's a gunfight going on, and I give you a 70-year-old knife and tell you go ahead and go into that gunfight, you're gonna get decimated. So, and that's what the current day marketplace is, and that's what tradcons don't get. Religion, traditionalism, all these things, they don't work anymore.
So this is the part I have a lot of sympathy for. When I got married, and I am blissfully married, my wife's not, but I am.
I can't believe I have to know you forever!
Oh, you're fucking insane!
When I got married, you got a lot of stuff for the sacrifice of getting married, because men give up their freedom to get married, and women give up some of their freedom to get married, and they get a home and a family and all this, but they give you a home, they nurture your children, they cook your meals, they take care of you, you get all that feminine care that is so wonderful in the world, makes your life a better place to be. If that doesn't exist anymore, then the deal changes, and this is where I have a lot of sympathy with the people attacking marriage. If you're going into a marriage where she's working, you're working, she expects you to share in doing the housework, which you don't care about, and she doesn't want the home to be messy, you could care less. If you were left alone, you'd become feral. When I lived alone, my place was absolutely filthy. I never even noticed, but they want you to share that. I'm not sure that's such a good deal. So he has a point there that things have changed and the marriage laws have changed. So that's the thing that conservatives and trads have to really think about, why you get married. And I talk about that on my show.
If you're a Christian, you want to get married in the church? Great. Make it a religious ceremony. Cool. Don't sign that piece of paper that gets the state involved, because there are so many negative incentives have been lined up when it comes to marriage. Like, get screwed over in divorce courts, dudes get screwed over in child custody, there's like alimony payments, there's child support payments. Like, all this stuff is a negative incentive for the woman, right? They're incentivized to like marry a guy and then leave and get alimony. If you're a religious person, go ahead, but keep it a religious ceremony.
An interesting thought, and certainly I would say this. I did everything wrong in getting married. It just happened that I had met my soulmate, so everything worked out great. But I did everything wrong, so I can't tell you to do what I did. But today, if I had it all to do over again, I would only marry a girl who prayed. I would only marry a girl who went to church. I'm not sure I would go for a virgin. They're kind of hard to find. But still, I think today I would go for a much more conservative situation, because I think that would be my best chance of not getting into these situations. And it does statistically raise the possibility of your having a happy marriage.
Hold on. Do you mean to tell me that Cobra Tate will not be married, will not be tamed?
It's not about being tamed or married. I don't believe in marriage in terms of an institution, not because I am against the idea of loving a woman, but I'm so anti-government. I don't want them to have anything to do with me, especially where my dick goes. So f*** them.
So there won't be a Mrs. Cobra Tate.
If I meet a woman and I point, she's Mrs. Cobra Tate.
Yeah.
I don't need the government to give me any kind of approval.
Have you met a woman yet that you go,
What do you mean? That's all I do. What are you talking about? I'm just pump. You got a sister, bitch?
What a jackass. What a jackass this guy is.
You suck, you jackass.
It's only because conservatives and left-wingers lie about what women are like that a guy like that has any kind of validation at all. Oh, they're the same as us. They're equal to us. We want to share housework because we both care about housework the same amount. It's not fair that they don't go to work because, they're stuck at home. All of those lies, that's what gives validations to buffoons like Andrew Tate. And he really is. I mean, I'm sorry. The guy is just a swaggering jerk. All right, let's hear more.
Boys, when you find yourself a worthy woman, it's not the ring that she's after, it's building a life together. Don't fall for this, I want a fat nugget on my arm. They're just trying to compete with other women, and they're only looking for the wedding day. They don't give a shit about you.
Well, what can you say? There are women like that. And there are women who have thought all their lives of this moment. I really believe that the more elaborate a proposal is, like if you've got a plane flying over with a little flag behind it saying, will you marry me? And you're at Yankee Stadium and, everybody's taking your picture and you're on the Jumbotron and all that stuff, divorce. I think it's like, you're walking down the street, you turn around and say, should we get married? And she says, yes. You say, great, I'll buy you a nice, reasonable ring for a couple of grand. That's going to last. That's going to last a lot longer, I think. Marriage is in a bad state. Feminists are bad people. Feminism is a bad philosophy. It has done a lot of damage to the state of marriage. That's a good reason to fix marriage. I'm not sure that's a good reason to not get married, especially if you want a deep, happy, rich, loving life. But who wants that? Never mind. I'm sorry I brought it up. If you want to hear more stupid people being laughed at, like and subscribe. Also subscribe to The Andrew Klavan Show wherever you get your podcasts, and we'll laugh at all the stupid people.